Deal Authority from the Regent Park Neighborhood Association. Sir, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year 2020. This is my community on January the 1st, 2020. We were shocked. We lost another member from the community due to violence. I'm here to speak on the item GL 11.4 regarding enhanced security. I'm going to call my deputation Airport City Hall because many of the recommendations in the undisclosed item on the agenda is private and confidential. I will assume that they are blowing out of proportion, that we need now metal detectors at the door, and really it's going to decrease the participation of civic engagement. But you know what? There is a paranoia you created. So listen, Regent Park lost 1 member from our community. And this is due because we have a poverty problem in my community of Regent Park. But being a community proactive, we want to request here to these members, to the community, to this council, to allow members who are video journalists, civic journalists, access to to be voided screening because they have credentials provided by the Regent Park Focus Media Arts Center. And by the way, that is an agency funded by 3 levels of government. And all of them believe that poverty is associated with violence. So we don't want to create barriers for new journalists, members of the community of Regent Park, mostly minorities like myself. What we want is to ensure that the credentials that some members of the media, I'm showing a letter on the screen about detailing who gets access to City Council, third floor, where we have currently the metal detectors and the security screening. And it says in paragraph 2 that they allow members of the media guild. So I'm talking about CP24, City TV News, and other bigger media channels that they were inconvenient right from the beginning. They were asked to unload the package of material and tools so that they can be screened for dangerous materials objects to bring it to City Council. Another person who was affected by this was yourself. Since I've been coming to City Councils in the year 2009, I survived David Miller. I survived Raw 4. I have survived John Tory Phase 1 and John Tory Phase 2. This is 2020. We need to allow young members of Regent Park to get access to City Council without being, again, traumatized by violence. You see, currently, the City of Toronto Police Services is creating Carding 2.0. We are being racialized profile again by the Toronto Police Services. Here is the in the overhead, the plan of the Toronto Police to collect data based on race. So we are target in our poor communities. So I want to avoid that from happening again. So, and the other recommendation I want to make, as you can see on the overhead, it says access to washrooms, please seek corporate security. That was December 5, 2018. I had to ask permission from city staff to access a public washroom because it was locked. You know what happened here is that we don't have conversation among the issues that are important, such as disability. Who among you has a disability? Who requires to go to pee like myself? I had diabetes. I had to go pee 3 times, 4 times, because that's my system. That's how I'm damaged. So I want you to view this situation under the scope of disability, so I encourage you, all of you, to contact the Toronto Accessibility Advisory Committee led by Councillor Kristen Wontang, so that we can have proper consultations and avoid situations where I have asked for special disability accommodation and it was denied. And they gave me a toilet card. That was the work of experts, my friends. A toilet card to get to third floor city council chambers.
Can you wrap it up, please?
So, I want to ask you again, allow Regent Park community civic journalists access and not being demoralized by coming to city council and be able to, through the social development plan in the Regent Park.
Sorry, Mr. Avila, can you wrap it up, please?
Yes, Mr. Councilor. I want to ask you to be progressive. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the deputy? Councillor Karygiannis.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the deputy, I really appreciate you coming to make the deputation. And certainly, being deputy myself, I realize the challenges that we face. However, have you ever visited Queen's Park or Parliament Hill?
Yes, I had. I know that they have similar procedures.
So they have these procedures that we want to put in place here at the front door of Queen's Park, and certainly at the front door of Parliament Hill. Would that be correct?
Well, my whole deputation is allowing members of the community civic journalists of Regent Park access as similar as members of the big media members, such as CP24 and CTV News. And yes, we want to create this, and I cannot stop it, my friend. This is something that the world is coming to. It is shameful that we have to be mistrust of anybody. Like, I've been coming to city council since 2009. And this is way too much.
Through the chair, if I may. My question is simple. Queen's Park and Parliament Hill have similar things that we want to implement here. Would that be correct? Simple yes or no, please.
The only difference, my friend, is that the community disability groups were consulted, not here at City Council. That's not happening right now. And it didn't happen in the first phase of the enhanced security systems approved by City Council and effective on December the 5th, 2019. So that is my answer.
Mr. Avila, thank you, but my question is simple.
What the hell is this? Is this a court of law to be cross-examined?
Derek.
Stop this nonsense.
I know the feeling, I know. Chris, come on, Councilor.
Questions.
Are you losing your seat at City Council? That's the reason you want to offend me?
Sir, you're supposed to answer our
Is
questions.
that the reason you want to offend me, Jim?
Mr. Avila,
Sir,
I know you're going to lose your seat. I know that.
sorry, so, Councillor,
No, forget it.
Let's speak to real talk. Let's talk about violence. No more deaths of people. No more young people dead.
Avila, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Others, sorry, again, Mr. Moran.
Just Jim.
because government work feeds their families. They really feed their families over your rights. And all the while, the law society laughs at you. So you get mad at that fire truck all you like. People screaming and it's hysterical. The government does not respect your rights because lawyers told them not to. You are raging at the wrong people, just like you were programmed to. So I'm thinking, at the next city council, Councilor Kurtz stands up and asks your city solicitor, Wendy Walberg, like you did the last time it came up. I have a pretty good idea what she's going to say. She's going to say that, well, the landing bill decision by Justice Coco was overturned at the Court of Appeal, but she probably won't mention because the Court of Appeal found out that decided that chiefs always have the common law powers to do it. If you read section 42.3 of the service act, it does say in the police officer does have the powers and duties ascribed to a constable at common law. However, that doesn't apply to you guys. In City of Toronto versus Prince, 1934, the Supreme Court of Canada said, in the words of Lord Haldane, in delivering the judgment of the Judicial Committee in McKay versus City of Toronto, this corporation is not the creature of charter and as such endowed with capacity by the common law, but it is the pure creation of the statute. So they won't be able to do that. The Greater Vancouver Transportation Authority versus Canadian Federation of Students, 2009, Supreme Court of Canada said, no matter how broadly the word law is defined for the purposes of Section 1, policy that is administrative in nature does not fall within the definition because it is not intended to be a legal basis for government action. In Green versus Law Society in Manitoba, 2017, Supreme Court of Canada said, rules made by law societies are akin to bylaws passed by municipal councils. I read that as bylaws passed by municipal councils are akin to rules made by law societies. Now, the rules of law society don't apply to me because I'm not a member of the law society. So using the Supreme Court's own logic, your bylaws don't apply to me because I'm not a member of the City of Toronto, the corporation. And I just want to point out that Deputy City Clerk John Elbert recently found out that you people don't actually have a set definition for what a bylaw is for the public to be given proper notice of in regards to your council procedures, which I know Councilor HallI is very proud of. So I just want to point that out. You might want to go to the province so the public has a good idea of what a bylaw you guys are using against actually is. Supreme Court of Canada and Canadian Pacific versus Ottawa Fire Insurance, 1907, the Canadian said that necessity, municipal institutions, corporations. I just want to make sure, Councilor, you didn't think I was lying at the last library board meeting, where I pointed out right around here, May 3rd, last year, Toronto Research Board meeting, Chief's Honor, gives a great explanation of the applicability of a bylaw. Provisions of this bylaw shall apply to all members, employees of the service, and board and elected in the city of Toronto. The bylaw applies to we all work for the city.
Thank you, Derek. Appreciate
You're gonna waste money.
The public perception that they don't want city hall, city facilities to be too, looks like an art camp, for lack of a better word, and having intrusive and going through metal detectors, but at the same time making use of artificial intelligence.
What about consultations?
Mr. Chair, I think 6 months is a little premature because we're going to have to get the results of some of the other testing he's having. At some public facilities in the United States, they're testing some similar technologies, but 3 or 4 on the market that maybe not going to share. I think we, if you said we would coordinate in 2020, that would probably be a big more reasonable thing for us.
I didn't say June 2020.
Yeah, I was talking about end of 2020,
Before, if I said
by the end of 2020.
in November 2020, or November 2020. Okay, all right, thank you. That's not what I was getting.
Staff has been very with that, their recommendations to us. If I love that, thanks, this is a question. I know all of us is that it's such a powerful, spoken to walk around, talking to the kids, what do you understand? The city is within the bounds of this building. Are you, while moving forward with what we support, putting an emphasis on moving away the text experience, the public space experience that residents, I am focused on all this have in this building, so that it doesn't become like a box experience that we need to refrain from this stuff. Maybe that's not the law, it's really not there. Is that a priority?
Mr. Chair, absolutely. It's imperative that when we do this, that we make this a friendly, customer-focused experience. There's no intention to restrict the public access. What we're doing is taking reasonable steps. We want to remain very transparent. We just want to remain safe for our business. Really, I think with the measures that we've done over time in the last year, it's been very, very relative to complaints or issues with them.
Excuse me?
Security staff do an excellent job in that regard, and we'll continue in this space.
What about my complaint? What about my complaint?
I have a motion here. The city council requesting executive director for corporate real estate management, corporate staff, or corporate government license and security at this meeting on November 30th, 2020, and use of artificial intelligence technology for the development of new security methods and options for the city of Toronto.
What? What about consultations with disability groups? No consultation with disability groups. No consultation with disability groups. So they just voted on these new enhanced securities for City Hall, and it's going to become like Fort Knox. It's going to be turned like a Fort Knox. Disability groups are not going to be happy about it. They're not being consulted. There's nothing on the report that addresses the issue of disability groups. They're just going to be turned this in where our freedom of expression and our freedom of communicating with our councilors, coming to city council to depute is going to be restricted. So if you bring your message to city council, that may consider what? A weapon now? Wow. This is nonsense. They want to diminish the public participation without consulting with people with disabilities. They're going to get away with it because we don't speak up, the lack of speaking. So now we're going to be treated more and more and more with less trust because we don't trust them. They don't trust us. They put up barriers. They're not consulting with people with disability groups. They just want to push ahead without consulting with proper people. Too bad.